This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to Wanna Bet on Detroit Sports Podcast Network, brought to you as always by mybookie.ag. MyBookie.ag is the best place to place all of your bets, whether you're betting baseball, NBA futures, any of those types of things. It's the best place to place all of your bets this summer, whatever they may be. They pay fast. I'm talking 48 hours. You win, you get paid. That's the way MyBookie does it. You play, you win, you get paid. And Detroit Sports Podcast is giving you a 50% bonus when you sign up. All you have to do is enter DSP as the promo code on your sign up, and you are going to get 50% of your deposit is matched. I mean, up to $1,000 matched. It means you deposit $2,000 on your sign up, we're giving you $1,000 for free. It's that easy. Go to mybookie.ag, enter DSP as the promo code when you sign up, and I'm telling you, when you win on MyBookie, you get paid fast. 48 hours at the most. It's a great system. It's the best system I've used. It's what I've been using for years. They're an amazing client, and it's just exactly the software that you should be using for all of your sports gambling needs this summer. Just forever. Just use it forever. MyBookie.ag, promo code DSP. You play, you win, you get paid. That is the deal over at MyBookie. So please check them out and use them. So want to bet this week. I first want to talk about Ari Abraham and his inability to understand something. Ari Abraham, of course, is the 16-year-old who scooped the NBA's best reporters on some free agency a few years ago. He graduated from USC in 2017. He's been a guest columnist on Bleacher Report NBA. He's been featured on Yahoo. He's been featured on ESPN Los Angeles. He's been featured on Mercury News, and he's been featured on Denver Post, and that's just in his Twitter bio. In addition to that, Ari Abraham is a NBA insider, according to himself, and every free agency, Ari Abraham loves to try to break Lakers news. Yesterday, it was an interesting string of tweets. He said, contrary to reports, I'm told that free agent Kawhi Leonard has reached a decision. The next tweet, I'm told that Kawhi Leonard will meet with the Toronto Raptors today. And the following tweet, to be clear, Kawhi Leonard will meet with the Raptors today, but a decision has already been made, sources say. The following tweet, sources say zipper mouth emoji. So Ari Abraham effectively is announcing that he doesn't know anything. And the best part is when Darren Rovell absolutely roasted Ari on Ari's inability to understand how Caesars Sportsbook posts free agency prop bets. And that's why I am talking about Ari Abraham on Wanna Bet. Because Ari Abraham has no idea how this works. NBA insider Ari Abraham has no idea how Caesars posts their free agency odds. Bleacher Report Betting, an excellent account should you be a gambler. Bleacher Report Betting is a great home for quick updates on odds. They posted a screenshot of Kawhi Leonard's free agency odds. The odds on where Kawhi Leonard will land as a final destination as an NBA free agent. At the top of the list, the Los Angeles Clippers. Even money for the Los Angeles Clippers for Kawhi Leonard. Following, the Raptors at plus 150. After that was the Lakers at plus 600. Now, that didn't line up with Ari Abraham. Ari Abraham said he was going to the Lakers. And so Ari Abraham posted on Twitter, Caesars Sportsbook has removed the Kawhi Leonard free agency betting prop. Enter Darren Rovell, one of sports business's greatest news people, one of the hardest working guys in the industry, despite the fact that he's also one of the most easily trollable guys in the industry. Darren Rovell had some things to say for Ari. The prop, this is from Darren Rovell's Twitter account. Ari says Caesar Sportsbook has removed the Kawhi Leonard free agency betting prop. Obviously, if a sportsbook takes a bet down, there's a very good reason for it. Like, they need to adjust the lines because something just changed, and they can't have people getting... In what Ari's trying to reference here, they can't have people getting the Lakers at plus 600 when the Lakers really should be roughly even money at the point in time that Ari's referencing this. Darren Novell answers, this prop was never offered. It can't be offered. You can bet on team futures, but you can't bet on specific player destinations per the Nevada Gaming Control Board. You couldn't bet this legally anywhere in the United States. He then answered, this has been removed per Caesars. He says it wasn't an action bet, but it has been removed. But it was never there. Darren Novell asks, where was it removed from? A fantasy board that never existed. This is the argument that's going on because the NBA insider, the however old he is newsbreaker, is just on Twitter making things up and doesn't understand how betting works. So essentially, whenever Bleacher Report posts, these are the odds that Caesars Sportsbook has on Kyrie Irving's free agency, when it was like Nets minus 250 and then the Knicks and Lakers and Celtics. Or when it was Kevin Durant and it was Nets minus 150, Golden State Warriors plus 200, Knicks plus 1,000. Whenever Caesars posts those odds, what they're doing is they're putting out hypothetical odds. They aren't real bets. They are not action bets. You cannot go to the casino and put actionable money on these bets. They are hypothetical odds that Bleacher Report them releases. It's not legal to bet on the single location, to bet on a location for a single player. Per Nevada Gaming Commission, that is not legal. But Ari just continued to go on and on and on, and eventually the guy who actually handicaps the board at Caesars, who puts these things on the board at Caesars, responds to Ari Abraham. And he says, as the guy who posts the action at Caesars, I can tell you, this was never on the board. So, ladies and gentlemen, the moral of the story is, be careful what you read on Twitter, especially during free agency season. Because people just want to break news. They just want to get clout. They just want to get likes and retweets and clicks. That's all it is. Nobody knows where Kawhi Leonard's going any more than anyone knew where Al Horford was going. If Caesars had posted odds on Al Horford minutes before he had gone to the Sixers, I would have ventured to guess the Mavs and Celtics would have been favored ahead of the Philadelphia 76ers. The Sacramento Kings at one point thought they were the front runner for Al Horford. Nobody knew he was going to Philadelphia any more than anyone knows what Kawhi Leonard is doing. Here I am. I was hoping that we would know what Kawhi Leonard was doing by now because I wanted to offer you my long shot picks. My picks for the NBA championship next year, which I think could be incredibly interesting. I think this is a season where, depending on what Kawhi does, there are between 7 and 12 teams that could realistically win the NBA title. If Kawhi goes to the Lakers, there is one team that could realistically win the NBA title, and I think it's the LA Lakers. I think he's that good, one, and it would be the best big three, I think, ever assembled. Despite the fact that LeBron is going to be 36 years old, despite the fact that Anthony Davis is injury prone, despite the fact that Kawhi isn't going to play more than 60 games. But you know what? All three of them could play 55 games. They'd be the 4 seed in the West. They'd get home court, and they'd probably cruise through the playoffs 16-0 and get right to a championship. That's how good those three could be in the playoffs. In the regular season, it's a different question because I don't think they're going to play that much. But as it stands right now, I want to offer you who I believe to be the best teams in each conference. And we might get more into this on the mashup after Kawhi Leonard has settled the dust and kind of just let us know what's going to happen, whether he goes to the Clippers, whether he goes to the Lakers, whether he stays with the Raptors, whether some unforeseen thing occurs and he ends up going to the field. Any of those things are possible. I think actually going to the field is virtually impossible. But whether he goes to the Clippers, Lakers, or Raptors, I think that team immediately becomes your title favorite. Now, if it's the Clippers, they might not get all the way to the top. I think they'd get awfully close. If it's the Raptors, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be the title favorite. If it's the Lakers, they are number one with a bullet. If it's the Lakers, if Kawhi goes there, it's going to be as earth-shattering of a move as when Kevin Durant joined the Golden State Warriors. If Kawhi goes to the Lakers, that is a situation where we essentially will know the outcome of the NBA before the NBA season even begins. I'm not a person who essentially hates that because I think the NBA has the greatest storylines in sports. Plain and simple. I think the drama that they are able to get out of their league is uncompetable. I don't think there's any sport or any professional league that can hold a candle to what the NBA is able to get out of regular season drama. I just don't. So I will give what I believe to be the best teams in each conference pre-Kawhi Leonard signing. And for the Western Conference, I will offer something I had absolutely no idea that I would find myself saying. But I do think the Utah Jazz, as it stands currently, are the best team in the Eastern Conference. They were a great fit for Mike Conley. Going out and getting guys like Jeff Green and Emmanuel Mudiay and Ed Davis and Bojan Bogdanovic. I think they're adding help around Donovan Mitchell more so than just Rudy Gobert being good at defense in the regular season. They now have weapons in Joe Ingles, Bojan Bogdanovic. Ed Davis is an excellent complimentary big on an incredible deal. I mean, the deal that he got, when you consider the fact that Jamal Murray got a $170 million rookie extension and Ed Davis has agreed to a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Utah Jazz, that's an absolute steal. It's also showing us that the center position has become essentially running back in the NFL. It's an incredibly replaceable gig. I think replacement level players are that much worse than the all-stars of that position, the Joel Embiids, the Anthony Davises of that position, the Karl Anthony Townses, that replacement level bigs, replacement level centers just become that much cheaper, like guys like Ed Davis. But right now, I think with the offseason that the Jazz have had, barring Kawhi Leonard joining a Western Conference team, I think they're the best team in the West. And I don't know how close it is because Golden State without Kevin Durant won, and without Klay Thompson, adding D'Angelo Russell is a good move. D'Lo, for one, he's not shooting like Klay. It'll allow Curry to play off ball more, which I think will be really good for them. But I don't think that they are going to be the out-and-out favorite in that conference anymore. I think wherever Kawhi goes, should he go to the West, will be. I think the Lakers have a chance to be better than the Warriors. I think the Denver Nuggets have a chance to be better than the Warriors. I think the West is a really interesting conference right now because, the Nuggets have gotten marginally better. Paying Jamal Murray as early as they did, I'm not sure if that's what you want to do long term. But for next year, I think they look poised to make another run. I think they're giving Jokic an opportunity to be less of a ball handler, to be less of a scorer and more of a passer out of the interior, which is good. That's what he should be doing. So I think they have a shot. And again, the Lakers. And I'll put them at 3 right now just because, listen, if they don't get Kawhi, there's not a ton of options. But if they don't get Kawhi, it's still $32 million that they can break up. Now, they're not going to get top-level role players like J.J. Redick because those guys are already signed. But they'll be fine in getting mid-level guys and then filling out the roster with veterans the same as they would anyways. But I don't think they need Kawhi to be a top 3 or 4 team in that conference. And then 4, I think I would say, would still be Golden State. And it could be interchangeable with Portland, with Oklahoma City, depending on what happens in those situations that are kind of fluid. But Portland getting off of Mo Harkless and bringing in Hassan Whiteside, putting a body where Yusuf Nurkic should be, I think could play well for them. I think they could end up being like a 4 or 5 seed in the Western Conference. And then when Nurkic comes back in time for the playoffs and you don't have to rely so heavily on Hassan Whiteside to be that guy in the paint, they could be a pretty good team. And then if I look over in the Eastern Conference, and again, I'm not going to even bother going through the odds. I just want to look at what I believe to be the best teams right now today. The odds are going to change dramatically the moment Kawhi puts pen to paper. But until he does, and for purposes of this argument, I'm going to leave Kawhi floating out in space because I'll say this. There's a 1A because should Kawhi stay in Toronto, they're automatically the best team in the Eastern Conference. If he does not, I think the Bucks are the best team in the Eastern Conference. Just because they have the best player in the Eastern Conference who is healthy. I'm not going to say that the Brooklyn Nets don't have the best player in Kevin Durant. They do, but he's not going to play, so it doesn't feel exactly relevant to me. The Bucks would be, to me, the best team in the East. The Sixers, then, would be the second best team in the East. On paper, I have questions about their roster fit. It's a lot of length. I saw somebody tweet today, if you took the 13 guys currently on the or on the Sixer roster, their wingspan would be 90.1 feet, nearly the wingspan of the entire NBA floor. It's a monstrous team, and they don't have a ton of shooting, and that's with a 13-player roster. So it's not like they have opportunities to go and fill out where they're missing shooting. They lost J.J. Redick. That's going to hurt. They've lost guys. They only had $2.2 million left in space. They used it. So I think with the Sixers, it's interesting. Getting Al Horford helps. But I don't know if he spaces the floor well enough to really help Ben Simmons. And then the third team, it gets tough because I think it thins out dramatically after the top two. I think the third would be a battle between either the Pacers or the Celtics at this point. I'm not ready to put the Nets there, at least not for next year. I think you look at their roster and it's got promising talent, but it's extremely top-heavy and it's extremely guard-heavy. And we see what happens with those teams. Getting DeAndre Jordan feels like a really good move until you start to think, how much is that going to stunt Jared Allen? And that's kind of where I start to get worried with it, and that's where it starts to concern me as a matchup issue. I think the Nets are a team that could struggle to win 45 games. I don't think they're that good next year. I don't think DeAndre Jordan's that good. He didn't play well last year. And we saw what happens when Kyrie Irving takes the number one role on a younger team with up-and-coming stars. And the thing with the Nets, too, is it's not like it's a bunch of 20-year-olds. It's a bunch of 24, 25-year-olds. That's good for Kyrie. But, again, it's guys who just had roles in the playoffs. They just took Philly to 6 games in the playoffs. So these are guys who they did it last year. And now Kyrie's coming in, and now DeAndre Jordan's coming in, and Kevin Durant's going to be on the bench. It's a lot of personality to throw in with these young guys. I'm not ready to put them there for next season. Obviously, when Kevin Durant comes back on the floor, we give him a couple months and see how he recovers from the worst injury a basketball player can suffer. We'll see where we put him then. I think they have an opportunity to, in the next year, to be one of the best teams in the NBA. I think next year they're going to struggle to score to win 45 games. So I think it's a battle between the Celtics and the Pacers, and I would probably give the lead to the Celtics because Victor Oladipo's probably not going to play next year. And the Celtics went and pivoted to Kemba Walker. And despite the fact that I don't think Enes Kanter is a great player, he's a good offensive player. He's a good offensive rebounder, and that's a skill set the Celtics just haven't had. Vincent Poirier out of France, same thing. Good offensive rebounder. He shows effort on defense. He doesn't move particularly well, but again, a really good offensive rebounder. And then they've obviously got Robert Williams, who could continue to develop into hopefully something. I think he has the highest upside of any big on the roster. And Daniel Tice, who can spread it out a little bit. But again, I think the Celtics are just going to benefit from not having terrible chemistry. I think you cut the cancer out in Kyrie Irving, and I think that they can just benefit from, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown aren't going to be standing around anymore. They're going to be more involved in the offense. Kemba Walker is going to get them more involved in the offense. So I think that's a plus a net plus for the Celtics, and I think they could be scarier than anyone is giving them credit for. With that, I will be back in 2 weeks. I'm going to line up an excellent baseball episode for 2 weeks out for WannaBet, and I am all types of prepping for the NFL regular season. I will be back to weekly for the NFL in time for college football and NFL regular season. Every week I'm bringing you picks, so it's going to be a great time. Remember, mybookie.ag, use promo code DSP on sign up. Thank you for listening. See you in a couple weeks.